Hear ye, hear ye. It is Judge Dawson with my podcast, Here Comes the Judge. And I am here to give you information that you can use to not only improve your life, but take your life to the next level. Now, if you've been listening to this podcast, you know that I am a municipal court judge as well as a yoga teacher. And I think the combination of those two different walks of life have given me a perspective that just helps elevate, and that's my hope, elevate everyone who takes a moment to listen to my podcast, read my emails, watch my videos on IG, everything. I appreciate all your support, and I appreciate how you continue to just engage with me. So if you are a new listener to the podcast, the first thing that I'll ask you to do is go to my website, judgedawson.com. That way you can see some of the things that I'm doing in my community and the world. And then also, I would ask you to subscribe to this podcast. You know, it's playing on all the major platforms at this point because I'm trying to get this message out. I think it's so important to hear from the court and to hear from a judge who has a heart for people. You know, I watch the financial news shows every morning. I kind of like to get a grip on what's going on financially because I think it ties to what goes on nationally in other news. And it's funny how the both just kind of ignore each other, but I think there's a connection. So I get up in the morning and I watch the financial news. And today there was a conversation about the need or the possibility of having a Republican mind and a Democratic heart. So the mind of a Republican, but the heart of a Democrat. That's very interesting because, you know, I would say you need both, right? That's what the conversation was about, but it was hard to get people to agree. Some felt that you need to have more analytical approach or to life and life circumstances, whereas others believe that you need to have a heartfelt approach to life circumstances. But for me, just like I'm doing the judge and the yoga intertwined, I believe that there is a fine line that both of those qualities can walk on and thus make life a little bit easier. So when I listened to that financial show today, it kind of gave me the inspiration to come on and talk to you just for a minute to try to give you some tips and tools on what you can do to walk that fine line when dealing with the legal system. How many of you have been involved in the legal system or know someone who's been involved in the legal system and it just doesn't work out right? I mean, it's to the point where they talk about they don't like judges or they don't like the law and it's all skewed in one direction. But just like there's a formula to succeed in anything in life, there's a formula or a recipe to make a cake. There's a formula how to make it through college. There is a formula of how you can make it through the legal system with the least amount of harm. Now, I'm not going to say it's perfect because we know it's not perfect. And it's not going to always be right either. You're going to have some judges who just don't do the right thing for whatever reason. Maybe it's that they bring their personal biases to the bench. Now, I don't bring my personal biases to the bench. In fact, I try to figure out what my biases are and get rid of them when I put on that robe. Because I know when I put on that robe as a judge, I have a responsibility to be fair and impartial. I don't play politics when I'm on the bench. I just call it down the middle. And then once I decide a case down the middle, that's when I can decide whether or not I'm going to give this person a break or show them a part of my heart or give them some compassion based on what they're dealing with and what they've been through. But you don't get there until you start with the formula. So here we are. I have 4 rules for you to employ when you're dealing with the legal system. The first one, be patient. Be patient. How many times have you heard that people go to court and they're waiting all day and they get impatient and they get upset? And when that happens, I'm telling you, it rarely works out for them because they have an attitude. They present that attitude to the judge, and then the judge works off of that vibe. If you walk up to the podium and you're disrespecting me because you felt that court was late and you dog me out, then I'm going to dog you out. And guess who has the power at that point? the judge, not you. So it doesn't matter how late the court starts or how early the court starts, be patient because you don't control that element of it. And not only is it important to be patient in court, but be patient in life. Be patient with yourself. As long as we are living, you have another opportunity to do the same thing over again or do something better. So just be patient. Don't come to court being impatient, trying to rush the system. And as they always say, justice is swift and slow at the same time. Rule number 2, be respectful to the court. At all costs, be respectful to the court. Now, remember, this is a new generation out here, and I understand there's a lot going on. You know, we have a social justice issue that is just running rampant in our country. We have disrespect across the board, and we have people who are now saying, you know what, I know that I deserve respect. I know that I have rights. But when you walk into a courtroom, please realize that that judge, that prosecutor, all of the people in the court, they have the ability for that moment in time to change your life for better or for worse. So again, you don't have the control. So be respectful to the system so that the system doesn't end up crushing you. Number 3, when you come to court, put your best foot forward. And by that, I simply mean bring your best attitude, put on your best clothes. It doesn't have to be new clothes. It doesn't have to be a designer outfit, but put on your best clothes, look neat and clean, because again, that goes back to you respecting the system. And basically what you're doing is you're letting those in charge know that you respect what's going on and you respect their authority and that you take the situation seriously. I mean, think about it. If you're charged with a crime, but you come into court, pants hanging down, no respect, sunglasses on, you're showing the judge and you're showing the legal system that you don't even care about the charges. They're not important to you. So when I then interact with you, I'm going to come with the same energy. So don't even give me that opportunity, because rule number 3 from Judge Dawson is to put your best foot forward. Rule number 4 of how to survive a court interaction, the rules of the court. Number 4, play the game. Now, I don't mean that to say that your charges, their game, that the situation that you're facing is a game, that you're a game or the court is a game. What I'm saying is you have to put on the role of respect, the role of patience, the role of putting your best foot forward. See, rule number 4 incorporates all the other rules. If you didn't catch that, you have to play the game. I'm going to tell you, in my court in particular, if you've been following Judge Dawson, that's me, on Instagram or Twitter and all those things, you will see that if you come into my court and you treat me with respect, you put your best foot forward, you act with patience, 9 times out of 10, you're going to walk out of that court paying less in fines and costs, spending less jail time that you should have, or maybe a higher possibility of your case even being dismissed based on how you play the game. So again, I beg you, when you go to court, make sure you play the game. Put all those elements together: patience, respect, your best foot forward, so that you can survive that interaction with the court system and not get destroyed by the court system. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is all I want to mention to you this week. So remember, when I do these podcasts, Here Comes the Judge, I'm not going to take a lot of your time. I'm going to respect your time. I'm going to put my best foot forward, and I'm going to make sure I give you information that you can use and give it to you in the fastest way so that you can get on with living your life. So I thank you for tuning in this week. I thank you for listening to the podcast. Share it with somebody that you know. We all know people who've been involved in the court system and who can get some tools on how to navigate that system in a way that it doesn't destroy your life. So share this podcast, subscribe to the podcast, Follow me on Instagram at Judge Dawson. Go to my website, judgedawson.com. Let's connect. Let's be the best that we can be so that we can be cycle breakers. Namaste.